Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Talk of the Town podcast. If you have not already, make sure to hit that subscribe button as we're on the road to 100 subscribers here on the YouTube channel. If you love rankings, daily uploads, reactions, just anything at all in the sports world, sports betting, it is all right here on the Talk of the Town podcast. And I promise you that subscription will be well worth it. And yeah, let's get into today's video. Today, we have our very first Slips for Sundays here on the channel. If you tuned in at all yesterday or followed me on any of my socials, I did post a little like 5-leg parlay for the Eagles and Cowboys game yesterday. Didn't hit, of course. Sports bettors all across, anywhere and everywhere, were really pissed off because the rain delay, A.J. Brown being non-existent, probably ruined 98% of people's parlays. He had like 9 yards receiving or just something terrible last night. So yeah, it was a very weird game. It started just very weird in general. I'm going to talk about that here. I am reacting to the Eagles and Cowboys game here in a second. And then I'm going to talk about my slips for Sundays for you guys here on the channel. And then, yeah, I'm going to talk about the Chiefs and Chargers game just for a little bit here to end off the video. So let's get started here today with the Eagles and Cowboys game last night. For one, like I said a couple seconds ago, man, was that a weird game last night. It's going to start off very weird with, I forget his name, but if you just watched, you seen there was a player down on the field getting carted off last night on the kickoff, the first like 10 seconds of the game, already a player getting carted off, and then it pans off to a big brawl. And then eventually the referee comes out and says, Jalen Carter is ejected. I just sit back. I'm like, what the hell just happened? We're not even 10 seconds into the season, and we have all of this crazy stuff going on. And then it pans into what happened with Jalen Carter, and he goes and spits on Prescott near Collinsworth and them talking about it. And it's just like, wow. I mean, there's no place for that anywhere. Football, I don't care where it's at. There's no excuse to spit on somebody, especially. Well, supposedly Dak Prescott spit on the ground in front of him or something, and then Jalen Carter went and spit on him. I haven't seen the video yet of Dak spitting apparently, but we'll see, or I'll see here after the podcast. I literally just seen it before I hopped on. I've been seeing a lot of people talk about it, so supposedly. But even if he didn't spit on you and he just spit on the ground, you got to hold yourself back. You were the best player on that defense. Maybe you could argue Zach Bond, whoever. You are a top 2 player on that defense. I think many would argue you're number 1. They need you in that game. That's not you're not just a welcome addition. No, they need you on that defense. Even though they won, they struggled. That defense struggled the entire first half. The second half, after the rain delay, both teams were out of whack. Seems like the defense stepped up, but both teams were out of rhythm on offense pretty much after that. To be honest with you, non-existent. You go from have an absolute shootout to just like no offense and consistently drop balls from who on the Cowboys, of course. But yeah, just a very strange start. You got to keep your head at it. This team needs you. Hopefully he learns from it. He dropped to 9th in the draft because of issues, and hopefully that does not start coming out on the field. It's been pretty quiet to this point, and last night hopefully is not the start of something for Jalen Carter. He needs to get his head back in the game after that, and he's going to catch a hefty fine. And a lot of people are not happy with him. Even Eagles fans are not happy with him at all. Respectfully so, dude. Come on, you can't spit on someone else. And not only is it just the moral of that, you let your whole team down. I mean, you get ejected. Your team hasn't even played a snap on the field yet, and you're already off the field. And you're supposed to be like the leader of the defense, pretty much. That's not setting a good example for your team. And the whole Eagles team yesterday, just stupid penalties. Hopefully I don't see that. I made a note of, to me, that starts at the top, and that starts with Nick Sirianni. We've known Nick Sirianni to be kind of a cocky guy, arrogant. And it's not kind of, I mean, he is. There's no doubt. You see him on the sideline and everything, and the way he talks and stuff like that. He is just an arrogant dude. Now, I mean, I guess you do have the right to be that way. You've been to 2 Super Bowls. You just won one last year. But you have to have your team prepared better than that. You just set a better example for your team, because clearly what he's doing is rubbing off on the other players in the locker room. It showed on the field last night for a majority of the game. Just stupid penalties. So there was a taunting penalty on Nolan Smith They had the Cowboys completely stopped, and then he stands over him. I literally sat there and I said, instantly, he's going to get called for taunting. And what happened a second later? The taunting penalty. It's just stupid mistakes. And that stuff comes from just poor coaching, like poor leadership. I'll tell you something. Even though he's having the absolute worst spell of his career right now, Bill Belichick, if there was a player to do that on a Bill Belichick team, on those Patriots teams, they would be riding home somewhere on just not even near the team, and they'd be somewhere else. They wouldn't come back in the game or anything, especially if it happened multiple times. Yeah, no. You need to lead your team better than that. Lead by a better example. Just too much of that stuff for the Eagles. Now, hopefully that's not a continuing pattern, and it was just a one-off thing. You're feeling good. You had your Super Bowl banner released, and, you're feeling good. You're feeling above the world right now. And hopefully that kind of brought that back down to earth a little bit. Like, okay, we're in a new season. Obviously, we can't get away with doing stuff like that, and they know better than that. They know they can't get away with doing stuff like that, but hopefully it was just a one-off kind of thing. And, Nick Sirianni really sits down with his team and it's like, okay, guys, we just really can't do that shit anymore. Like, come on. Even from his standpoint, like, dude, it's time to get back in reality here, But to the Cowboys' credit, though, man, the Cowboys played a really, really good football game. They had about 20 opportunities to win the game in general. Couldn't seize it. CeeDee Lamb's hands completely just turned ghost mode. In the last 2 minutes of the game, you are a guy who set out for $30 plus million a year a few years ago. I mean, the one where it was like a 40-yard pass down the field just went right through his hands. Now, the last catch of the game, again, it's in both of your hands. It was a lot harder of a catch. I think a lot of people kind of give him more benefit of the doubt on that one, but you hold out for $30 million a year, catch the damn ball. I mean, he just completely choked at the end of the game. The first one where it was like the 40-yard pass, Dak threw it over the middle of the field. It was literally in both of his hands. He should have caught that ball. You hold out for $30 million a year, catch the damn football. There's literally zero excuse for it. Whether or not they would have went on to score a touchdown is questionable. Who knows? But you set your team up for success at that point. And if Miles Sanders didn't fumble the football the first time in the red zone, they could have maybe had 23 points, and all they had to do was get in field goal range at the last drive of the game, and a CD would have caught that in that situation. Now, whether or not they would have been calling plays like that if they just needed to get in field goal range, we don't know. Whether or not that play would have been called in the first place, it's up in the air, but still. The Cowboys had about 20 opportunities to win that game and didn't seize it. Now, if the Eagles were to lose that game, they would have been fine. Now, obviously, no matter how good you are, how talented you are, you don't want to choke or lose any games at all. Because any game can come back to bite you at all. I mean, I think the Eagles, we think even if they lost that game last night, I still would have thought they'd probably finish with 12 plus 13, 14 wins anyway. But the Cowboys can't afford to lose games like that. And honestly, the game, I'm not going to say it was handed to them, but they had plenty of opportunities to win that game. And I said from the beginning, I think the Cowboys, a lot of people are down on them. Dak Prescott 2 years ago was second in MVP voting behind Lamar Jackson. I mean, the dude is a legitimate quarterback. He's going to be a guy who may get votes on the Hall of Fame ballot one day. No, not necessarily saying he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I think he obviously needs to get to a Super Bowl or something. Then he'd be talked a lot more in that conversation. For one, he's not talked about at all in that conversation because he's a Cowboys quarterback who has not been to an NFC championship or anything. So, of course, they're going to slam him more than they would anyone else. Respectfully so, he doesn't need to get to an NFC championship. He's a kind of a regular season warrior. He doesn't really win playoff games that much. So, that's not going to look good for him if he ever wants to try to get in the Hall of Fame. But statistical wise, he may get Hall of Fame votes one day, maybe. Now, that's a big maybe, but I mean, he's going to have pretty great numbers when we look at the end of his career. He could end up being top 10 in passing yards. Who knows? So, I mean, later on in the season, this team, I think, is going to be around 9-10 winish, right around there. And they could be a game out of a playoff spot. They're going to look back at this game right here. What if CeeDee Lamb just called the damn football? Would they be in the playoffs? We don't know. I think this game's really going to come back to haunt them in about 15 weeks. I think in 15 weeks, we'll be looking back at this game being like, man, the Cowboys could be getting ready to maybe clinch a wild card spot, but now they're not. Maybe they don't get in, or maybe they have to have a nail biter in week 17 just to get in when they could have had it a week before. So I think this game feels like a game that could really come back to bite the Cowboys. I think they're going to be competitive all year. I think they showed it. This team's not going to be a walkover team, not at all. So and they proved that last night. Jalen Hurts looked really sharp last night. I love the way Jalen Hurts looked. Good for him. Dak looked sharp. AJ Brown was non-existent. He just only had like one target, I think. So we don't even know whether or not he was open. Saquon looked like Saquon on the offensive line for the Eagles. Dickerson going out is kind of worrisome, but we'll see his status. He looked like he was in a lot of pain. But the Eagles, every team, I'm going to say this, every single team this week is going to look off. It's not just going to be Philadelphia. It's not going to be Dallas. It's going to be pretty much every team this week is going to look off. It's like that every year. The first couple of weeks is absolutely just insane. No one knows. Last year, the New Orleans Saints look like the greatest team we've seen in years. They look like the greatest show on turf Rams the last few weeks last year, and now they're debatably going to be picking number 1 overall this year. So things change quick. The first couple of weeks of the season are just completely odd, very strange. So if your team plays bad this week or they play off, do not take it with a grain of salt. That's all I got to say. The Eagles still ended up winning the game, but I think the takeaways we can take from that is the Eagles are the Eagles. Even when they played off, they won the game. Definitely need to work on their leadership skills a little more and holding in your emotions better. There's no doubt about that. I get it was a high emotional game. You're playing against the Cowboys. You're not playing against the Panthers or something. Like, this is a legitimate rival. I completely understand, but still, almost lost you the game. Almost lost you the game with stupid mistakes. Got your best player ejected. Definitely need to have a massive talk about that. And the Cowboys, not going to be a pushover team. That team is going to compete, and I think they can finish with 9 or 10 wins this year. And this could be a game that will come back to bite them. So that's my takeaways from this game. Very weird, odd game. The rain delay threw everything off. So, yeah. My next thing here, my first segment of Slips for Sundays here today. So, Slips for Sundays, going to give you guys my bet slips. I'll put it on the screen here when I get the game. I'm going to have my favorite games, my stay away games, and I have a crazy bet of the week. Basically, like, if you're looking to throw $10 up and try to win $1,000 right here on the pod, trust me, I do pretty decent at those. I'm gonna be an example. This one didn't hit, but I just wanted to give an example anyway. I had the Warriors and Grizzlies play-in tournament last year, and I had like this ridiculous 12-leg parlay. Every one of them hit, except the Draymond Green rebounds. And I had him 6 rebounds. Kind of felt like a layup one, and he finished with 5. And it was like a $10 bet for, was like $2,100 or something. So I was like, dude, you gotta be shitting me, dude. But anyway, let's get into my favorite games and my stay away games here this week. Some of my favorite games to bet on this week, I'd go with the Bucks versus Falcons. I always like their divisional games. They all feel kind of similar. Shootouts, they're always close. The Bucks and Falcons games are always close. Now, you can say that for a lot of divisional games, but some more than others, and the Bucks and Falcons just always feel like a close game. Now, that being said, when I do that, and I'm going to show my thing up on the screen here in a little bit when I actually go into the parlay itself, I never take the Falcons in betting. The Falcons are the most inconsistent team in betting in almost sports history, it seems like, especially over the last couple of years. absolutely just so annoying to bet on. Colin Coward is one who says he's probably lost more money on the Falcons than any other team in sports. They are just an absolute wild card team when it comes to betting on them. I try to stay away from betting on the Falcons. Now, betting on the players is different, but betting on the Falcons to win, cover the spread is just a completely different story. Another favorite game of mine to bet on is New England in Las Vegas. I'm a diehard Patriots fan. I watch every Patriots snap. I know what's coming into this game for New England, so I feel very, very confident coming into this game. We kind of know what Las Vegas is. They're going to be very offense heavy. Like, they're kind of one-sided offense. They have some good defensive players, but I think their defense still leaves a bit to be desired. And then my last favorite game, I think this will be a shocker, is Miami versus Indy. I really like this game. I've been talking about Miami, I think, is going to collapse, but I think in the first couple of weeks, like I just mentioned, teams are very strange. And a lot of people give me very Cowboys vibes in the sense of, okay, people are very down on the Cowboys. They think they're going to just walk in and get trounced 50-7. I don't see that happening with Miami. I think Miami's healthy right now. Their offensive line is kind of strange. Their defensive line is great, which I think is going to benefit them very well. You get pressure on Daniel Jones. He just doesn't even look like an NFL quarterback anymore. So I really like that. And I'm going to take Miami to win that game. I'm in a survivor pool as well. And I think they had Miami as the underdog when I bet on it a few days ago. And or went into my survival pool a few days ago. And I was like, what? I'm easily taking Miami over Indy. I'm not seeing where Indy's going to win that game, to be honest with you. Indy's already collapsing. You know, I'm predicting the Miami collapse it's going to start happening in a couple of weeks. But no. Indy's already collapsing, dude. No way. And some of my stay away games, I have Kansas City versus the Chargers tonight. I know this isn't necessarily on Sunday, but I'm not a huge fan of betting on this game. I have this on my slips for Sunday's game, or my slips for Sunday stay away, because I really don't like this game. Brazil, we seen how the fields were last year. These two teams are always very, I don't know. I don't like betting on Chiefs and Chargers games. I tend to stay away. That's me personally. Maybe there's someone out here watching who just absolutely dominates Chiefs and Chargers, the money line, betting on them, anything. That's you, dude. You found the formula, great for you. But no, I tend to stay away. Every time I bet on the Chiefs and Chargers, it just does not seem to go right. I tend to stay away from that that game, especially in Brazil. Weird game, weird hours for them over there. Week 1, I don't like it. You remember the Brazil game last year with Philly and Green Bay? Jordan Love pretty much tore his whole season apart last year, and players slipping everywhere. No, absolutely not. Maybe the field will be in better condition this year, but still, week 1 in a completely different time zone, in a different part of the world for these guys. No, I'm not a fan at all. Stay away, far away. And the next one I have is Pittsburgh versus the Jets. We don't know what version of Aaron Rodgers we're getting. The Pittsburgh offensive line was still kind of a question mark. Justin Fields and the Jets, we literally have no idea what we're getting. Apparently, Justin Fields has looked horrendous in training camp. The Jets, do they really want to carry on with Justin Fields for the next few years? We don't know. I think they have bits and pieces. But there's already rumors it's falling apart in that organization. When isn't it falling apart with the Jets? Not trying to throw shade, but I'm being dead serious. And Pittsburgh, I do like Pittsburgh to win that game, but I don't necessarily like betting on the players for that game. I forgot, what was the spread number on that game? It was in a weird spot that I don't like. I don't know. I should look it up, but I'm not going to right now. Yeah, I can assure you it was in a weird spot. I didn't like the spread at all, to be honest with you. So stay far away from that game. Next one is Cincinnati versus Cleveland. It's a stay away game. I think a lot of people are kind of banking on Cincinnati to blow out Cleveland. Cleveland has a healthy Myles Garrett, which the Cincinnati offensive line is very iffy anyway. Besides Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, I mean, to be honest with you, Cincinnati leaves a bit to be desired on the offensive side of the ball. Trey Hendrickson, they re-signed him, Shamar Stewart, but I still think that defense is a serious issue. And Joe Flacco's a gunslinger, dude. I mean, they have Njoku, Jerry Jeudy. I mean, Flacco's a gunslinger. No matter who he's throwing to, he's going to find somebody. He will tuck it 60 yards down the field if he has to do it. He does not care. I mean, he's out there. He's not really playing to win a Super Bowl. I mean, he's obviously going to play to win, but when you have a guy who's out there with obvious, like, kind of nothing to lose at this point, he's out there kind of playing for fun in a divisional game, and there's a lot of pressure on the Bengals. That could crumble fast for Cincinnati. I mean, it really could. Cleveland's not necessarily a bad team. Like, they don't have a bad roster. Now, their roster's not great at all, but divisional games, Cincinnati versus Cleveland has always been very wonky, especially the last few years or so. And again, it gives me very Miami, Dallas vibes. Like, I don't think Cleveland's going to have a good season like Dallas is. I think they're going to have the worst season out of the three. But, I mean, coming into this game, they give me no reason to sit here and say, okay, Cincinnati's going to blow this team out by 30 points. I mean, maybe I'm completely wrong. We'll see. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I tend to stay away from that. I think Flacco out there with nothing to lose. He's out there just playing to play. He is literally out there playing to play. No one's expecting Cleveland to win any games. You're going to see it's going to be pretty dangerous. Joe Flacco came off the couch and did it last time with Cleveland. The team has nothing to lose. That's often the team you have to really look out for. Especially when they have pretty decent talent on that team. You know, they do not have scrubs on that football team. So, man. Those are my 3 stay away games and my 3 favorite games. Now, I'm going to come back to my 3 favorite games to bet on. I'm going to put on the screen my my parlay slips or my parlays. So I have right now with the Bucks and Falcons. I took the Tampa spread. I took the spread on that -1.5. I like their games. They're always close. I have Tampa winning that game. I'm not betting on the Falcons to win. Bijan, 50-plus yards. Drake London, 40-plus yards. Michael Penix, I think, is going to pass a touchdown for sure. I actually like Penix a lot coming into the season. I don't think Penix is going to go out there and light it up necessarily. First game of the year. I'm trying to take it slow for some of these guys. I'm not necessarily going to go and say, I think Penix is going to go out here and light it up, tell us 3 touchdowns. I'm not betting on that for the first game of the year. Baker Mayfield, 230-plus passing yards. Really like him. I think Tampa's going to come out there firing away. I really do. Bijan, anytime touchdown score. I feel like if they get anywhere within the red zone, even Penix only played a few games last year. They're really counting on Bijan having a big year, so I like Bijan a lot, getting a touchdown. My next one, I have New England versus Las Vegas. I took the Patriots money line. I'm not going to take the spread. I don't like the spread on that game, so I'm just going to take the money line. Travion Henderson, 40 plus rushing plus receiving yards, Stephon Diggs, anytime touchdown scorer, I could see him definitely tossing to Stephon Diggs. He's had a great training camp. They're definitely going to design a lot of plays to get him the ball, especially in the red zone. He was very good in the red zone last year with the Texans, the few games he played. His first game there, he had a few touchdowns already. So I'm pretty much banking on a Stephon Diggs touchdown. Ashton Genty, 50-plus rushing yards. I don't want to take him more than that because, to be honest with you, I think they're going to feed him the ball. But I think Geno's going to go out there and sling it a bit, especially because Christian Gonzalez may not be playing in that game. So they may really be banking for Geno to pass the ball a lot. And finally, I have 250-plus for Drake May passing plus rushing yards. I think Drake May is going to go out there and have a really big game. So it's Max Crosby. I'm not a huge fan of their defense. Drake May's a really good runner, so I'd like to see that. I think he's going to be passing it a good bit, too. He's going to be running it. He likes to run out of the pocket a lot. Trust me, I watched a lot of Drake May last year when nobody did. And finally, hold on, let me make sure I got it right here. Yep, and finally, for my last game here, for my favorite games to bet on, I have Miami versus Indianapolis. I'm going to take the spread of 1.5 with the Dolphins. I like the Dolphins to win this game, and most people don't. I like the 1.5. I think the Dolphins are going to go out there and play pretty good. 25-plus rushing yards for Daniel Jones feels like a gimme, to be honest with you. He likes scrambling. That defensive line is going to make him run a lot. I think he's not necessarily going to get his first option, so he's going to scramble a lot. Yeah, I like that. Tyreek Hill, 110 plus receiving yards. I see Tyreek Hill having a big game. I do. I like Tyreek Hill a lot in this game. I have Tua with 2 plus passing touchdowns and Tyreek Hill is an anytime touchdown scorer. I like that a lot. I really am feeling that game. Feeling good on that Miami parlay. I really am. I feel really good about that one. And then for my crazy bet of the week, I'll put it here on the screen. All these are going to be on my socials, by the way. So follow at talkofthetown_pod if you'd like to check up on them as well. Yeah, I am going to put my crazy parlay right here. Yeah, if you're looking at it, it is pretty nuts. That's what I mean by crazy parlays. $10, you get $1,100. If you're feeling risky, why not go for it? This is what I feel like is the best chance at getting that. That's just my personal opinion. So yeah, that's my slips for Sundays here this week. If you like it, make sure to let me know in the comments. And let's get into our last topic of the day here today. That is going to be the Chiefs versus Chargers game tonight. Let's go over it briefly. Again, I said this is kind of a stay away game betting for me here. To be completely honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of betting on this game. So I think it's going to be a very weird game. These two, when they play each other, are always weird games. Feels like the Chargers are always about to go on and win the game, and then they can't get anything going. And the Chiefs feel like they're actually playing worse than the Chargers, but then, at least last year, I'm going to go based on last year. And they still end up winning the game. So, yeah, I mean, that's what I have for the Chiefs and Chargers. I actually really don't have too much to talk about it. I don't like the Brazil games at all. I wish they'd do away with that, to be completely honest with you. Sorry. Just bumped my desk if my camera shook a little bit. But, yeah, I really do not. I mean, of course I'm going to watch it, but like I said, sports betting, anything, I'm not a fan of this game tonight for anything that has to do with anything with that at all. So, yeah. Chiefs, Chargers. There's a lot on the line for Justin Herbert, for one. If he goes out there and beats the Chiefs in the first week, kind of gets over that hump, I think that's going to give him a lot of confidence. Chargers starting 1-0, Chiefs starting 0-1. Going to hear a lot of talk about the Chiefs starting 0-1, especially with a lot of people saying the dynasty is over. You're going to hear a lot of talk about the Chiefs being 0-1. And, well, could they start off 0-2? Could they start off 0-3? They're going to make a big deal if the Chiefs lose this game. So, again, weird time for both these teams. I don't even know what time they're starting in Brazil, but it's definitely not going to be what it is here. That's for sure. Yeah, very strange game. But again, Chiefs win the game. They're going to hear a lot about could the Chargers make or maybe not make the playoffs? A lot of weird talk about the Chargers as well. A lot of people not really banking on them to have a great season as well. So be careful with that, people. If you bet on the Chargers having a good season. A lot of people are not in on that. That's for sure. So that is it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, I got my first slips for Sundays. I'm going to add more as time goes on. The first week, I'm very leery. I think a lot of professional sports bettors are very leery of betting big on the first week because it is a lot of weird stuff that happens on the first week of sports betting, anything at all. You're not sports betting, just at all in the NFL. It is very weird. So, yeah, if you liked it, make sure to let me know. And I hope everyone has a great weekend and enjoy the first Sunday slate of NFL games. I'll catch you next time.